These are your readings from the Waist Up, and I'm Megan Benanti. Thanks for joining me, guys. Okay, so our 3 charms for today. Let's see what we've got. We have a tiger, if that speaks to you. We've got a goat, if you're Aries or you like goats. Could also be a ram. I'm afraid I'm not fully ram goat educated. And we have chili peppers. So you were going to choose tiger, goat, or chili peppers. And then I've got a reading that corresponds for you. So these are just like I do on Instagram, but I'm limited by 10 minutes on Instagram. So here we're going to do, as long as it takes, because I don't read necessarily a lot of cards in a reading, but I can find a lot of information out of a few cards. Everybody reads a little differently, but one of the ways in which I was trained, I was taking a course, and Mary K. Greer, who's a really old taroist and author, she taught us a class, and we spent 10 minutes on one card. And that really impacted me, like how much information can come through in a simple reading. So that's always how I've done it. Okay, let's look at those tiger people. We'll see what we've got for you guys. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. So you've got some challenges here. And it's interesting. You are in a bit of a mid-cycle. Your numbers are 3, 4, and 5, and then followed by a 1. So we'll get into something new next week. We're starting out, we've got 3 of Cups in reverse. And so, there's a little bit of disharmony, perhaps with friendships or in a relationship. This can oftentimes, involve more than one person. But you guys probably really need to think about, are you on the same page right now? And is this something that can be corrected? It's not necessarily lasting energy, but, is this a relationship you want to continue with? Or how do we communicate differently to get on the same page, to reunite, if that is what you want? I do feel like there could be longevity here, whether that is from the past or moving forward into the future. So like you guys have been friends for a long time, or you could be friends for a long time. There is a sense of that. If you want to make it work, you can do it. But it feels like you've kind of gotten onto this island or this area that's a little too narrow or too small for both of you. Like as if you're cohabitating and you're being college roommates. So you have to live and sleep in one room, and it's just kind of too much. So think about where that's going for you and how you might want to navigate it. I would say somebody's going to need to make an offering. So you don't necessarily need to be stubborn about that. It is, to make things change, one of you is going to have to be willing to say, I'm sorry, and to open up the conversation. Work, there's a sense of not being honored, or there's an event either that was missed or was a negative event. I've got 4 of Wands in reverse. And we think about the tiger. Tigers are strong, they're powerful. There's a sense of entitlement. There's a sense of family. They are king of the jungle. They are bigger than lions. So they are beasts. And so maybe you're coming in with a strong sense of presence right now, like you own the place. And that's okay. That can be really powerful and wonderful, but it can also be a lot. And so think about it. So, if you had a birthday or there was an event there, maybe you couldn't be present for it. You might be kind of bummed out by that. Or there can also be a sense, though, that maybe things are happening without you. And, is that a problem? Like, why is it a problem? Are you feeling left out? How do you want to navigate that differently? There might also be just a relationship at work that you feel perhaps left out of. And I know that's not traditionally tied to this card, and I might just be speaking to one person. So this might not be as much for the collective, but I do see it here. So I have a need to say that. Because sometimes friendships happen without us and we do feel left out. So, you know, just be conscious of what's going on there. There's a lot that isn't defined. And so I don't feel like this is something you need to take super personal. Um, you know, sometimes people just connect and, you know, we get pushed to the wayside. But maybe it's opening up room for you to grow in another direction. And this tiger is on the prowl. And so there might be, no, you can't see that by any means. um, so, you know, maybe they're attracted to someone you liked. But do you need to be involved in that? You know, sometimes we can't help when two people are attracted. I remember those days as well in the work environment. Okay, way back when I was young and single. Personal life. This looks good. You've got good creative energy. There's also dynamics for change. If you're stepping into some exercise, I definitely say own that. Go for that. We've got 5 of Wands. There's an awareness of your body right now as well. Might be particularly focused on the chest. One of the things that's speaking to me is posture being important, and so strengthening the back muscles, the chest muscles, things that hold you up. And really, there's a sense of standing in your own truth and like, this is me, take it or leave it. You know, and for those of you that are maybe a little more focused on your fashion and your appearance right now, it is owning some sense of style that maybe is stepping out of your traditional comfort zone, or the comfort zone of how others typically see you. And so that's not a bad thing. It's just saying, hey, look, I've got a new look. Sorry if you don't like it, but this is me now. So I love that energy for you. Okay, now moving into next week, I have Ace of Cups. This energy is reversed. So there's a sense of like, you know, wanting to move on, wanting to open your heart to something new, but that feels a little bit blocked. And you know, when I'm looking at this, there's even the image of two of cups, like really teeny tiny right in here. And I know you probably can't see that, but it is there. I can't see it without glasses on, but I just know it's there. And so one of the things for you is, if we're going back to that possibility of a relationship at work, I feel like you're trying to take the high road and it's hard. And so this is the struggle, and this is what you're growing through, and this is how you begin to focus on what is the light right now. So hand on the heart, focus on the love that you feel, not about a person, but about someone else, but about you. So check in with that soul love and just keep going there every time you feel despondent or frustrated. Hand on the heart and focus on feeling the love. All right, that's going to help you navigate this. And we'll get you focused where you need to be eventually. You'll find, you know, who's going to be your tiger in your life. So, okay. Goat people. Let's see what we got for you. Or ram, as it probably is a ram. It's a little too big. The horns are too big for a regular goat. And you don't have to be Aries. That's okay. You can like rams and not be Aries. I got to see one. I was hiking in Croatia. And I just thinking, God, I haven't seen any wildlife. And I look up, and then there is a ram on the side of the mountain. And I blinked, and then it was gone. It was really a cool moment. So, okay. All right. So first off, you look like you are working on the end of a cycle, which is interesting. So we have 2 9s, a 10, and a 5. Starting out, 9 of Cups in reverse. Just a general sense of like, is this it? Yeah, it probably is. Sometimes life is not all roses. And actually, you know, that's one of the things, like, life is a struggle. And I'm sorry if you hear the barking dog. Everybody's walking their dog right now, so my corgi is going nuts. You know, this is a moment where perhaps you're focused on your frustrations, and life can be frustrating, but that's okay. That is part of why we are here, is to always to embrace that challenge and then find the light, find the love, find the joy. So I want you to turn your energy around, instead of it being negative, and really begin to look at the positives in this moment. Okay, So this sucks. What am I getting out of this? Work. If you're working, it feels like there's some strange changes in structure. And perhaps, if there was a promotion or something you were looking at moving up into, it feels like this might be passed on to someone else right now. And this is not only frustrating, but disappointing and a bit of a sense of a blow for you. I'm looking at Ten of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot about stability in this, and it's like somebody just pulled the rug out from underneath you. So I really want you to think about that. For those of you that are working like for a family or you're in school, what is your family dynamic? That might be your family at home. It might be your friend family, and perhaps changes in that and what makes sense. And, do you have to hold on to that? Can you adjust to the change with grace? Personal life, Nine of Wands. This is such a powerful Nine of Wands. She's so at peace with herself. And this is a sense of preparation. But what we're owning in this is it's not a struggle to prepare. It is about empowerment. And getting into that space of meditation, of centering yourself, of just breathing. And so I feel like you're in your personal life, you're really taking the time to honor your soul, not just your ego, and really focus on what you need to do for you. So this is beautiful. I feel like you're stepping into the higher ground, and your spiritual growth is what is going to kind of help you navigate through this. Moving into next week, okay, you're doing better with the challenges. I love this. We've got Five of Cups. But there is a little bit of, it's like, okay, not everything's perfect. This is irritating me. So there's still some focus on the negative, but you do have positives there. And I feel like you're beginning to acknowledge some of that despite what hasn't worked out. So the cup is beginning to be half full versus half empty. This is a learning progress for you. So what I see, and we think about the ram, what does it do? It rams its head against a wall. And the call here for you is to stop doing that. And I feel like you're really trying and you're showing effort. And so, as you move forward, it's definitely embracing wisdom, grace, some humbleness, not feeling like you have to control it all, and just learning that. And that's a lifelong process we step into. The reason we love grandmas and grandpas is because they tend to be calmer. They don't jump to conclusions as quickly because they can't control things anymore. And they know that. They've already had that life experience, but it takes just maturity and wisdom and age to get there. So you're doing great. Keep up the good work, and we'll check in next week. Okay, now let's let's look at our pepper people, and we'll see what we've got for you guys. So, and I'm sorry, Theo is my dog. He was scratching at the door there because he wants in now, which I tried to get him to come in earlier, and he just wouldn't. So, okay. But I knew he'd end up like this. He loves to scratch at the door when I'm in readings. Okay, chili peppers. Oy, okay. So, interesting theme for you. You have 2 2s, a 3, and then a 7. So, 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Challenge in balance for you energetically. I always call this is kind of my rob Peter to pay Paul card. And so there's a sense that you're dropping the ball right now. Too much going on. This can be financial, but this can also be time. And I really want you to focus on what matters most. And I feel like right now you're drawn to your emotions, that they matter most. But I think that you need to balance this out with your intellectual side more. And so consider that what's rational versus how you feel about it. Um, if you want to get somewhere in the long run, you're going to have to navigate this skill, because right now I feel like you just keep getting overwhelmed with a flood of emotion. Now, if you're in your teens or even early 20s, that is part of that era. You know, that's okay. But the sooner you get a grasp on that, the more stable you're going to become. And, you know, yes, way easier said than done. But just consider it. And if you're struggling, start journaling. Journaling helps every time. Okay, so work. This actually is good. We've got Seven of Swords in reverse. So there is a sense that things are beginning to work out better for you. Now, of course, if you're in school, this would be the school card. But it's like a softer side. And if there is an apology to be made on your part, it's time to make it. There's a call for that. Or someone else might be apologizing to you. It might not be the apology you think it should be, but let it be what it is. Because I do see this as a card of healing. There is a little, I feel like there's a deeper trust issue for you here. Maybe it's related to just this person, but it might be older. And so I really, and you know, we think about the chili peppers, it's spicing things up. So looking at this, it's learning to find forgiveness and learning to trust even when someone fails you. And forgiveness is something, it fluctuates, you know? Sometimes we can forgive 100%. Other times we forgive 10%. You know, and there is also different levels of, how bad it is. And so, you know, what I want you to think of is, how would you forgive yourself? Reflect on that in the other person. You look at them as a soul, not just as their ego. We all have a soul that interconnects us with everyone else. So that is where you're finding the grace. If you are continuing to struggle, I feel like there's something within you that needs to be forgiven. And so you need to be more gentle with you. Personal life, I've got Two of Cups in reverse. And so this relationship has now been, well, you've kind of come apart. And I will say the expectations that you guys have of each other isn't necessarily realistic. And so I want you to get a little more grounded about what you expect this person to be in your life, and perhaps how you expect to be with them in your life. And then you can decide, is there a way to move forward? I do, looking at this, feel like you can move forward. You have to decide, how are we going to cross this water? Are we going to swim? Are we going to hold hands? Like, what does this look like if we're going to get to the steps and move forward? So think about that a little bit. And is this worth it for you? Because this can just be a bump in the road right now. This doesn't have to be like the end of your relationship. It's not that heavy, but we tend to get all sucked in, you know, that's how we are as humans. Okay, now moving into next week, we've got Three of Pentacles. It is in reverse, so we are dealing with the challenge of that. I see you struggling either in your work or school life. There is kind of a lack of focus here. And I want you to think about, what is the purpose of this? And I think, you know, if there might be a part of you that, like, there is no purpose to this. I am just either trying to pay my bills or graduate, whatever the situation. And, but I think that you need to consider your reason, your why. And, you know, because there is a purpose why you're there. And it's not just so you can please other people. It is either to support yourself or to finish so you can move on to something better. But get clear on that, and don't let your life distract you so much, because I do think there's a lot of joy that can be found in this environment. And if there's not a possibility of that there, then maybe you can move on. You know, sometimes certainly early in our careers, we take a lot of jobs that don't necessarily have a lot of meaning, but they are paying our bills. So, you know, could you make a lateral move? Maybe. If you're in school, you got to stick with it until you're done. And so I would say in that regard, make the best of it. But think about what makes sense for you. And then check in next week and we'll look at the next reading and hopefully we'll have more wisdom to give you there. There will always be more wisdom. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not. And it's up to you to make changes. So think about how you can improve your situation. But I do think that we've given you some ideas and skills here that can help you to navigate this and move forward more positively than had you not stopped to listen to the reading. So, okay, that is it for this week, guys. Thank you so much. Please do all the things like subscribe, comment, and know that I will never ask you for a reading. So I have had doppelgangers before. You know, they pretend to be you and then they reach out. And trust me, I will never ask you for a reading. People come see me because they want to see me. My prices are there online, but I'm not desperate. So, all right, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.